Hello everyone, I am Ajay. Welcome to Online Learning's Capgemini training. Today we want to solve Capgemini previous year technical questions. Coming to our first problem for today. What is the output of the following pseudocode? Integer I and I equal to 3. Okay, I equal to 3. Do, okay, this is a do while loop from here to here. The basic difference between while and do while is in the while and when after satisfying the condition only the inside code or statements will be executed, but whereas for the do while the first code or the statements inside the do while will be executed, then condition will be checked. So at least once in the do while the code will be executed, the inside code, but for the while the first stage itself the condition need to be satisfied. So coming to the code, do print I plus 3. Print I plus 3. Okay, let's trace the output and keep it here. I plus 3. I is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 6 will be printed. Then I equal to I minus 1. I equal to I minus 1 means 3 will become 2. Okay. While I not equal 0. Yeah, 2 not equal 0. Again in the loop. Print I plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 is printed. Okay. And I equal to I minus 1. 2 became 1. So 1 not equal 0. Yes. So again 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay. And I equal to I minus 1. So this became 0. 0 not equal 0, false. The loop breaks. So output which we have traced is 654. 654. Yeah. Option D is the correct answer for this. Come to the next question. What will be the output of the following pseudocode? ABC. Okay. A8, B51, C2. Okay. XOR. Okay. This symbol stands for XOR. And the basic trick is when both inputs are same, then result is 0. If both are different, then result is 1. Example, if you have 1 0 and 1 1, then if you do XOR for this 1 1, as both are same, the result will be 0, and here both are different, so result is 1 here. So this way we need to solve. And the first is A XOR C. A XOR C means 8. 8 XOR C. C is 2. 8 XOR 2. So the binary representation for 8 is, this is the binary representation for 8, and for 2 1 0. So rest here it will be 0. So first the XOR for this 1 0 different, so 1, both are same 0, different 1, both are same 0, 1 0 1 0, and 1. And after getting this we are again doing XOR with A. So 1 0 1 0, and A is 1 8. 8 means 1 0 0 0. So if you do XOR for this 1 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 0. If both are same 0, and here both are different, so we have 1 here. So 0 0 0 1 0 which indicates 2. So finally 2 will be stored in C. B equal to B mod 4. B equal to B mod 4 means B is 51. 51 mod, that is percentile 4, is equal to 4 to the 48, so remaining is 3. Yeah. So B equal to 3 will be stored in B. And last, A plus B plus C. What is A? 8. What is B? 3. What is C? 2. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. So the output we got is 13. So from the above options, option A is the correct answer for this. So the next question. Find the output of the following pseudocode. Take number equal to 6. Okay. Take number equal to 6. So we are reading the number as 6. K equal to I equal to 2 while I less than equal to number. Okay. And while. Fine. So we have K and I. Value is 2. K value is 2. Okay. I is less than equal to number. Number is 6. So write this right. So I is less than equal to 6. Yes, 2 is less than equal to 2. K equal to K into Y. So K became K into Y. K into Y means 2 to the 4. And I equal to I plus 1. So it became 3. Again 3 is less than equal to 6. Yes. K equal to K into Y. So K into Y means 4 into 3. It became 12. And I plus 1 means this became 4. 4 is less than equal number. Yes. And K equal to K into Y. 12 4 is 48. This became 5. 5 is less than equal to 6. Yes. So k equal to 48 into 5, 48 into 50, 240, So 240 is the answer for this. So 240 and I became 6 here. 6 is less than or equal to number? Yes. So 6 is less than or equal to, yes, it's equal. So we can consider this, the condition satisfies. And here 240 into 6 means 600, 6 4 is 24, 6 2 is 12, 14, 1440, and I becomes 7. In this the loop breaks because 7 is not less than or equal to 7. So, and at last write k. The k value which we have at last is 1440. So option A is the correct answer. Coming to the next question. What will the output of the following pseudocode? It is a comma b, set a equal to 15, b equal to 7, a equal to a mod a minus 3. A mod a minus 3 means a is 15 mod a minus 3. 15 mod 12. 15 mod 12 is 3. And b equal to b mod. B is 7. 7%. 7 mod is 4. Here also 3. So a equal to 3, b equal to. A equal to a mod 1. So a mod 1 means 3 percentile 1. 3 percentile 1 is 0. And b mod 1, b is 3. Again 3 percentile 1 is 0. So 0 0. 0 plus 0, answer is 0. Option D is the correct answer for this question. Coming to the next question. What will the output of the following pseudocode? In this a comma b comma c, set b equal to 5, a equal to 2, c equal to 2. Okay, till here it's done, and we are checking if b greater than a, 5 greater than 2, yes, and a greater than c, 2 greater than 2, no, both are equal. So here conditions are not satisfied. And do remember that if you have this and, if you are traversing from left, and in any case, anywhere that situation that the result is false, you don't need to check the other conditions, because even if one false is there in the input, then the because of and, the complete result will become as false. So you can stop till here itself wherever you get false. So here I am getting false, I am not checking the other conditions. So if condition fails, the else condition, a equal to b plus 1. A equal to b plus 1 means b is 5, so a becomes 6. So a becomes 6, 6 plus 5, 6 plus 5 plus c is 2. 6 plus 5 is 11, 11 plus 2 is 13. So option 13 means option B. Yeah. So option B is the correct answer for this. Coming to the next question. What will be the output of the following code snippet? Okay. So variables are declared into I equal to 0. Okay. I equal to 0. J equal to 1. K equal to 2. L equal to. Okay. L is just declared. Fine. L equal to I plus plus. I plus plus means 0 in post increment, 0 plus plus, and or foo of ampersand jn, the address are being passed here. So int a comma int b, int sum equal to this plus this, which is, so again here sum, so j and k, so this plus this means j and k is 1 plus 2, that is 3, sum equal to 3. B equal to a. B equal to a means b is address of k, so address of k we are replacing with address of j, that is k becomes 1 here, and return a equal to sum minus b. So a equal to sum minus means a is sum is 3 minus what is b here, b we got as 1, so b means k, address of k, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So in the address here 2 will be stored, that is j value will become 2 here, and it returns 1 here, and because we have OR condition, so the L will store 1, so 1 0 2 1 1. So, and here we are accessing 1, so we edit the post increment, so I will be incremented to 1, percentage ijkl. So 1 2 1 1, 1 2 1 1, option A is the correct answer for this. Coming to the next question. Which of the following statement for a simple graph is correct? Every path is a trail. Yeah, this is correct. Every trail is a path? No, absolutely not. Every trail is a path, and as well as every path is a trail? No, this is also wrong. Path and trail have no relation. Yes, it has a relation, so we asked for correct, so this is wrong. So option A is the correct answer for this. And the next question. What is the number of edges present in a complete graph having n vertices? Okay. Those of you who don't know about complete graph, if we take this as an example of a graph, Complete graph means a node is being connected to all other nodes. That is called complete graph. Suppose this node is connected to this node is connected to this, and this node is also connected to the third node. So this node is connected to all, and even this node to be connected to this node to be connected to this, and coming to this node, this is connected with it, this is connected with this to connect to this, and one more edge. So here, so if you can see, every node is connected with all other nodes. This is called as complete graph. And in complete graph, you can check that we have 4 vertices and 1 2 3 4 5 6. So for 4 vertices we have 6 edges. So the basic formula for this will be option B. If you just substitute the 4 edges now, 4 into 4 minus 1 is 3 by 2, 4 to the 12, 12 by 2 is 6. That is the number of edges. So for the 4 edges we got 6 edges. That's correct. So option B is the correct answer. What is the postfix expression for the corresponding infix expression? It's basic knowledge that and even everyone should be aware about the postfix inflection, how to convert from prefix to postfix, infix to postfix, postfix to infix. All such conversions are definitely required to solve this kind of technical questions. Now coming to for this question, we are asked to convert the infix expression to postfix. So in the postfix, the process is that basically we take a stack, and in the stack we append all these operators, the place, multiplication, and all, and rest all operands being print as the output here. And the rule is that in the stack, if this is an operator 1 and operator 2, then these two should be kept in this order. Only when operator 2 has higher precedence, that is higher priority than operator 1, then only these two need to be kept in this order. So let's try to trace this. A, this is an operand, so we can just print as A plus, so plus is pushed to the stack. B, so again operand, star, that is multiplication has highest priority, so we can keep in this order. Then C, fine. Then plus need to come here, but if you can also, plus has lower priority compared to multiplication, and plus is above that, which is not as per the rule. So this multiplication will be popped out. Yeah, multiplication will popped out and plus comes here, so multiplication will comes here. Again these both are same, this plus also will get popped out, so plus will come here. So there is we just have only one plus here. Yeah, okay. Then till here is done, and D star E means and you should observe that there is a parenthesis, so it's a different thing. We have higher precedence for the parenthesis, and D star means we print D, and star means this will come E will come again as operand, and we are closing the parenthesis, so whatever inside the parenthesis, that is star, will be appended here, and at last only plus is left. Whatever will be left, we will just pop it out, and the output which we traced is ABC star plus DE star plus. So ABC star plus DE star plus. So option A is the correct answer for this question. Coming to the last question for today. The matrix contains m rows and n columns. The matrix is called sparse matrix. Okay, the sparse matrix is basically a matrix which has more number of zeros. So if the matrix is a 3 by 3 and we have 9 elements in it, so it's basically like 9 elements means 4 and 5, so it should have at least 5 zeros to call that matrix as a sparse matrix, because 5 elements are zeros, which means the other 4 are non-zeros. So the zeros count is high, then that matrix is termed as sparse matrix. So from the options, total number of 0 elements greater than m into n by 2. M into n by 2 means if you take the 9, that is 9 means 3 by 3, 3 into 3 is 9, 9 by 2 is 4.5, so the round off is greater than 4.5, so it basically should have at least 5. So this condition satisfies. And in option B, so this condition satisfies. In option B, total number of zeros is m plus n. M plus n means 3 plus is 6. No, not exactly. We just require 5. 5 is enough to call it as sparse matrix. So this option is wrong. Total number of zero elements are m divided by m. 3 divided by m is 1. If the number of zeros are 1 and other elements are non-zero, that is 8, then it's not called a sparse matrix. So even this option is wrong. Total number of zero elements are m minus 1. That is 3 minus 3 0. Even this is wrong. So the correct answer for this option A. That is the matrix is termed as sparse matrix if you multiply the row count into the column count, divide by 2, and the number of zero elements are greater than that result, then we term that matrix as sparse matrix. So that's it for this video. All the best. Thank you.